Good morning, and Rod Fleming in the Philippines here. Anyhow, earlier in the week I put up a little video which was, about what are the advantages and disadvantages of being with a ladyboy. And to my enormous surprise, not. I got a whole bunch of comments about this, both directly and on my YouTube channel. So one of the ones that I will deal with right here is, why don't you just get, they said, why don't you just get a normal woman? And the answer was actually answered, in the original video. Well, I think the honest thing to say here is, I don't want one. Who would? I've had my children. I don't want children anymore. So I don't really need to deal with all the shit that would come with having a woman, and her, a young woman anyway, and her, oh my goodness, I need kids, or she has kids, and she's got all these complications. Now, yeah, fine. There isn't a problem with finding a woman here. It's easy. There's plenty of women. That's just not a problem here. People choose to have relationships with ladyboys because they choose to have relationships with ladyboys. They prefer it. I prefer it. There's something about ladyboys that I just like, and I've tried to explain some of them in that previous video, but I have good relationships with many GGs, female women, call them what you like, women. It's not the same, and there's no way that it will ever be the same. So it's kind of, just go with your heart. You just go with what you want, I said to somebody the other day, as soon as you see a ladyboy, if you like me, as soon as you see a ladyboy, you're like, oh. And you check, you're walking down the street and there's a bunch of girls, and there's always a bunch of girls, and you're like, maybe there's one a little bit taller. I remember David Bonney saying something about this. Maybe there's one that's a little bit taller than the rest, or you always check the feet, because it is a thing that ladyboys tend to have slightly larger feet than, equivalently sized girls, women rather. You always check the feet. Quick look at the feet, and they've got these legs, incredible legs, and you just sort of, there are certain things that you sort of notice, you remark, that will tell you if you're experienced enough whether the girl is ladyboy or not. It's actually not that difficult. I mean, Westerners get fooled because Westerners are inexperienced. I mean, I remember specifically walking through a mall with my friend Andrea, who is a trans woman, and I said, remark all the ladyboys that we see, or trans women. She doesn't like being called a ladyboy. Sorry, I'm a wee bit hosty because I've been recording this one. So, walking through this mall, I think it was Mall of Asia. No, it wasn't, it was Mega Mall. We were walking through Mega Mall, and she kept nudging me. I'm like, what? She's like, I'm like, really? And then, she must have, I got maybe half of them, maybe slightly less. And she was like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you tell? I could tell instantly. And I'm going like, you have an unfair advantage there, Andrea, She's very sweet, and I'm very, very fond of that girl. But anyway, she did the music. She did the music for the intro music, which has been on and it's been off and it's back on again now. Anyway, leaving that aside, you develop this ability, and it's not something that's that tricky. That's the way it is. You learn to home in on the ones that are interesting for you, and the ones that are interesting for you, if you like me, they're going to be, well, they're going to have a cock. Nobody's interested in post-operative pussy. I mean, come on, you could get, there's more natural pussy than you could shake a stick at, and it's laying itself out for you. Why would you want a fake one? It's like, what the fuck is the point of that? And people in the West, they don't understand that. They think, oh my God. And it's like, well, I'm not criticising people. It's just that, why would I bother? If I want a pussy, then there's plenty of natural pussy out. There's loads of it. It's fucking coming out of the walls here. Why would I bother with a fake one? And of course, that is something that is very important for the girls here, because it's one of the main reasons why so many of them here, I mean, it's a really tiny percentage have GRS, genital reconstruction surgery, for those of you who don't know, in the Philippines, and maybe a bit more in Thailand, but I don't really know because I haven't been for a couple of years. The simple fact is, they know perfectly well that he's having GRS, having their cocks inverted and turned into fake vaginas, he's not going to get them a boyfriend. Anybody who's interested in ladyboys, they want intact ones. They definitely don't want somebody who has a fake vagina. As usual, it's very noisy here. We want to move very soon, or I want to move here, but that's me, the cats, all the fucking entourage. So where was I? Nobody wants a post-op. I mean, if you talk to post-ops, I do know a few, and they'll say, well, things like, well, it's always the same, I have to pay for sex. I can't do the things I used to do when I had a penis, where, men would just be like, are you interested in going for a little drinky? Or perhaps more? Men would pursue me, but now they don't. They're not interested. As soon as they know that I'm a post-op, it's like, forget it. Now, I know that in Thailand that's a bit different. There are places in Thailand, have been for a number of years, which specialise in post-ops. But it's not the case here. And I think that, again, in proportional terms, it's, I have to hazard a guess because there's no actual stats, but if it's as much as 5% of ladyboys having GRS here, I will be frankly amazed. I think it's an awful lot less. It's very, very small. I mean, there are tens, probably hundreds of thousands of ladyboys here, and there's maybe, I don't know, there's a few 100,000, maybe thousands have GRS. They don't want it. If you ask a ladyboy what she wants, surgically speaking, and a lot of them don't want any surgery at all. They're like, I don't like surgery. Sam was like that. Not having surgery. No knives, no blood. I hate blood. Not having that. Nobody's cutting me up for anything. And she was naturally incredibly feminine. Poor Sam. I loved her very much. And she was incredibly feminine, and everything about her was just feminine. So she didn't really need. She was a beautiful face, great figure. Just everything perfect. And she went, why would I bother? And I'm not having some fucker cut me up. Why would you? On the other hand, I do know girls who were very enthusiastic about getting the boob jobs, a little bit of face surgery. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it not so much. Or you kind of feel, well, you look great, but you looked great before, so I'm not really. Why did you do that? Please leave your noses alone, girls. Nose jobs very rarely work out. Asians have slightly flat noses. Live with it. They're pretty. Anyway, leaving that aside. These dreadful nose jobs I've seen. Leaving that aside, it's like people don't feel that they need to have GRS. They'll go for these other cosmetic surgeries first, and then if you say, what about the GRS? Oh no, I don't want that. No, I don't want that. And part of it is that they get too much pleasure. Part of it is that they're afraid. They're like, what if I can't come? And yeah, I hear all the bullshit. I hear all the bullshit. And I hear all the stories about, oh, don't worry. Oh, no, it's all, oh, it's all right. Doctors and surgeons are always the bloody same. They lie through their teeth. The fact is that GRS is it's a major invasive surgery, and it doesn't always work. Simple as that. There are plenty of girls around who will tell you that, no, it doesn't work. They actually still prefer to use their anuses. It's like, no, it just doesn't give me that hit. Or, I can't come that way. I just cannot come. I've lost the ability to come completely. I mean, who would want that? And so what happens is that a lot of the girls just won't have it. The area that you find most, if you're actually interested in this sort of thing, would be amongst pageant performers and cabaret performers, where there is a premium on being able to, completely seamlessly tuck and not have any junk on show. In other walks of life, especially if you're trying to attract a Western guy who is interested in that sort of thing. I mean, these days, you go to the beach, and if they're, so I've been to the beach, but still, if there's ladyboys there, they don't bother tucking anymore. Just why bother? I mean, I'll show you some pics. They just don't care. Why bother? I've got it, I might as well flaunt it, and I know perfectly well that men like it, so, why bother getting all antsy about it? So they don't even tuck. They just let it hang in the bikini, and so you get the bikini with the bulge, and it's like, well, that's cute. That's very cute. So that's where it is, that's one of the reasons why. That's why we date ladyboys. You may think it's gay, but nobody here does. And I wouldn't give a monkey's fuck if you did anyway. I spoke to somebody else, I mentioned this before, she's in Amsterdam, and she said the thing that she likes military guys, she said, because they're so confident. They're absolutely, totally confident in their masculinity, so it's like, I don't care what's in the way there. I'm going in. Brace yourself, Sheila. It's that sort of thing, you know, we don't, it's like, I mean, yeah, I'm sure there are pseudo-bisexual, autogynephilic men who, males, who pursue trans women so that they can be penetrated. You know one or two, but you immediately get that creepy sensation from them, you know? It's like, you know they're autogynephilic. And autogynephiles are always a little bit creepy. There's always something a little bit like, makes your skin crawl, just a wee bit, you know? And that's an autogynephile thing. I don't think it matters whether they're trans autogynephiles or non-trans. Although I do have to say that the trans ones, the ones who are fully transitioned, especially at a young age, they're much less so. They can actually be quite normal people. It's quite fine, you know? They don't tend to have the fits of narcissistic rage or any of the rest of it. I'm sure I'll add to this again, but there again, you know, it's actually very hard to find credible reasons why you wouldn't date a ladyboy. I mean, unless you want children. If you want children, you obviously have to get married and have a woman and get involved in that. I did that years ago. I did that decades ago. I've done it. I ain't doing it again. I don't know if a lot of men are like me. They're like, oh shit, it was great at the time. I'm not doing that again. What, walking the boards at 4 o'clock in the bloody morning again? No, sorry, that's young Butch who's making a noise here. He probably wants out. No. We appreciate what ladyboys bring to the table. We appreciate their sophistication. We appreciate their beauty, amazing beauty. We appreciate the way that they behave in relationship to men, which is fantastic.